everybody? Wolf Overlord here, back with another story about my life. Now, many of you may have noticed that I've been doing multiple kinds of videos here, and, well, I'm not stopping there. I've actually thought about bringing more subjects in, so I'm really excited for the future of this channel. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about the time I got suspended from school because of drugs. So let's hop into this. Now, as many of you know, I do openly smoke marijuana, and I do not encourage anybody else to do this, by the way. But that doesn't mean that I've never gotten in trouble for it. So, about 5 to 6 years ago in 8th grade, I got caught. About 2 weeks prior to the day I got busted, I was smoking with some of my friends at a local playground behind a school, which wasn't very far from my junior high. And yes, I know that it wasn't a very smart idea, but it was during the nighttime, so at least we weren't around a bunch of little kids. Basically, we were all huddled in a circle under the playground itself, doing our thing, you know. and once we were done, we put everything away and dipped out. My homie ended up giving me, like, my first piece, you know, and it was broken, so, like, that's why he gave it to me. And like, I or one of my friends had put it back in my backpack. I don't quite remember who it was. All I know is that it ended up in my bag. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I finally wanted to start trying in school, so in my study hall class, I went down to the library to work on some of my projects. Once I was finished, I finished all my work. Walking back to class, I noticed that my principal and my vice principal were standing at my classroom door. Thinking nothing of it, I continued walking toward my class. Then they turned around and said, "Never mind, he's right here." They started to walk my way, and he said, "Hey man, do you want to come with us?" And I was like, "Alright." As we're walking to the principal's office, they were convincing me that the reason they needed to talk to me was because they wanted to give me my own locker. At the time, I was in a fight with my current best friend, or my current best friend at the time. Anyways, we were in a fight, and I ended up moving into a locker with another kid and someone who is now like a brother to me. I love him to death. He's my best friend in the whole world. Um, so the story made sense. Since there was 3 people in our locker, like, I could kind of tell. I was like, okay. I was going along with it. I was falling for their damn evil trap. Walking into the office, I noticed that they had my bag sitting on a chair. I walk in, sit down, and this is where the story starts to kick off. My principal sits down and asks me like 3 times if it was my bag, and I said yes, all 3 times. Then he asks me if he can search it. At this time, I had completely forgotten about the piece. I honestly thought I had put it away at home, so I was like, yeah, go ahead, man. He gets to the last pocket after finding nothing in the others, the pocket where I usually kept my stuff. He starts to unzip it, then starts to pull out the little Skittles bag that I kept everything in. They have those like Skittles bag that's like they like zip lock together. I don't know. They snap together, okay? And at this point, my legs became jello. Like, I've never been so scared in my life, okay? This is like some real shit, not scripted at all. Like, I really have never been so scared in my life. It was so bad, man. It was like, fuck. I knew I was fucked at that point. He opens a Skittles bag and pulls out my piece, and he says, "What is this?" And like a dumbass, I said I didn't know. He looks at me and says, "Seriously? Most kindergartners know what this is." I said, "Okay, it's a pipe." At this point, they bring in the school officer. They start asking me questions like where I got it from and basically trying to get me to rat out my friends. But I'm a good person, so I came up with a story, and a pretty damn good one, really quick. Since the piece was broken, I told them that some older kids that came up to me and asked me if I wanted it. And I said that I didn't know who they were exactly, and then they asked me like, why would random people give it to you? I explained that it was broken and they didn't want it anymore. I told them that there was like a little bit of weed left in it, and I tried it. And I don't know why I said that. I was just like, I was scared, man. So like, don't fucking judge me, okay? And anyways, I told them I didn't like it. I said I honestly thought I threw it away, and they just left it at that. The officer then asked to go through my wallet. So I was like already fucked. So I was just like, okay, like I don't have anything to hide at this point. And he starts going through it and then pulls out a condom and says, well, at least he's being safe. I was just sitting there like, bruh, I'm in deep shit. Don't be fucking cracking jokes right now. Like, who the fuck? So they sent me to ISS, or in school suspension, and I had to wait for my mom to get there. My mom finally gets there like 20 minutes later. We didn't live that far away from the school, but yeah, I sat in there for a little bit. Maybe it was like 10 minutes or something. Anyways, my mom gets there and starts flipping out. So I'm like, shit, man, like I'm done. There's no way. I'm dead. We go into the officer's room and he looks at me and says, "If I scrape this, you realize I can get you with intent to sell, right?" At this point, I had like a class A misdemeanor already because it was like paraphernalia, possession, like in a free zone. I honestly don't know how I got possession because like there wasn't anything in the pipe besides what was scrapable. So I don't know. Anyways, it was a class A misdemeanor because like the drug free zone and all that kind of bullshit. Anyways, like I knew that he couldn't, but I was just like, okay, whatever. Then he gives me three options. A, I could do 100 hours of community service. B, I could take drug classes and get my record wiped for $675. Or C, I could go to lockup. My mom agreed that we would do the classes with a week of suspension. I wasn't allowed to come back after the week of suspension unless I had a clean drug test. At the time I got busted, I hadn't even smoked in like 2 weeks. So I got my drug test passed within that week of suspension, which by the way is a really dumb punishment if you think about it, because like I don't have to go to school. Like what fucking kid doesn't want to not go to school, you know? And on top of all that, they also gave me a year of like probation. It wasn't like a where I had to like check in with an officer or anything, but if I were to get pulled over or like searched by a cop, they could search me without like permission or whatever. And yeah, I never got in trouble again, but um, so we get into the car and like I think my mom is fucking pissed at this point. So I'm just like staring out the window because yeah, I didn't even want to look at my mom, dude. She gets in, sits down, and then starts laughing. So I turn around and I'm like, "Why are you laughing? Like this is not funny. Why are you laughing?" Then she says, "I told you not to get caught." And at that point, I just had so much relief come over me. I was like, okay, well, if my mom's okay and she's not too mad at me, then oh well, fuck it, I guess. Like, you know, I did fuck up, I will admit, and you know, I don't suggest that anybody does what I did, and that's kind of why I'm telling you the story. But yeah, so at that point, I was pretty relieved. The whole week I was suspended, I just spent skating and chilling with the girl I was with at the time. You know, I'm so glad I'm not with her anymore. Like, the girl I'm with now, she's fucking perfect, and I love her so much. Anyways, um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I did that whole week I was suspended. So it really wasn't much of a punishment. However, I did actually take the classes. I passed them and got my record wiped. So now I have a clean record, and I'm trying to keep it that way. And yeah, man, it wasn't until like a year or two later that I finally paid my mom back for it all, like all 675. Uh, anyways, guys, that's how I got suspended from school because of drugs. Before we go, I'd just like to thank Cinch Gaming for sponsoring me. If you ever want to purchase something from their website, use code WolfOverlord for a 5% discount. And with that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed the video today. I put up a new video every week, so be sure to let me know what video you would like me to do next down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe with bell notifications on to stay posted every time I upload a new video. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.